Hello, and welcome back to Star Wars Minute. It's the daily podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and celebrate the Star Wars movies, 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
I'm Alex Robinson from AlexRobinson.fun.
And I'm Jordan D. White from, you know what? I've got a new podcast coming out called Nature Trail to Hell.
Oh.
What's the theme of it?
The theme is that me and my friend Stefan are watching all the Friday the 13th movies. I love them and have seen them a million times, and he's never seen them before. So he's watching them for the first time. You know Stefan?
We do, from the Fantasy Cruise.
Of course.
And he also lives near me, so we met up once or twice before the pandemic, of course, but we've kept in touch.
Nice.
We've had a lot of fun. Yesterday when you guys were talking about the movies by minute. Sorry, this is a digression, but yesterday when you were talking about movies by minute, it reminded me that when we were talking about Friday the 13th 8, because we've recorded ahead, I was saying I want to do a movies by minute of just that movie because I hate it so much that I think every minute of it I would have something to talk about how dumb it was and how awful it was. Nice. I'm not going to do that, though. I think
that's often the better way to go. Is if there's a movie that's so like bizarrely off-putting, that's a better movies by minutes than like, I really like Goonies, and like I'm sure there's stuff to talk about in Goonies if you dig into it, but I think like a movie that just really vexes you, like all kinds of questionable decisions are made.
A talking cat?
A talking cat? Exactly.
Is someone doing a talking cat?
That was like the third one, I think.
I didn't realize
because that was we talked about it, and then somebody, I think on the Flophouse, they said they were doing an episode about a talking cat, and they said that there were enough, exactly what we were just saying, there was enough like weird decisions throughout that movie that somebody should really do a minute by minute Star Wars minute style, breakdown of it. Yep. And then some listeners did, and they did the whole movie really early on. It was like 5 years ago now or something like that.
Yeah, at least.
I really dislike that one that night, that Friday. But that's me.
Oh, I thought you meant a talking cat.
Whole podcast. Maybe. I'm sure I love that.
Right.
It'll be better than any of the Friday the 13th movies. I can't think of a Friday the 13th movie that I've sat and watched in its entirety. Well, then you should listen to Nature Trail to Hell.
I believe I will.
And we'll have a lot of fun.
I saw Freddy v. Jason in the theater.
No, it's versus. It's not
flooded the Supreme Court.
It was the courtroom drama. Yeah. Oh no, wait, I'm thinking of Alien v. Predator.
No. What would the case be? What would they anyway? I remember when Batman v Superman came out.
Right.
I was doing Deadpool books, and we were doing a versus Deadpool book, and we did Deadpool v Gambit. And it was going to be called Deadpool versus Gambit, but then because of Batman v Superman, they were like, you have to put V, and it'll be funny. And I'm like, that's not funny. But the writer, who you also know, Ben Acker and Ben Blacker.
Oh, sure.
I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was Acker's idea to subtitle it. It's Deadpool v Gambit. The V is for versus. And by V is for versus, the V is for VS.
Nice.
Which I was like, that makes it. Now I love it.
Exactly. Lean into it, like Mr. Big said.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we should talk about the minute.
Yeah. What?
Oh, well, we're out of time, unfortunately.
Right, yeah. Well, it's not Friday the 13th Part 8. It's Solo Minute 68 that we're here to talk about. Minute 68 starts with Beckett interrupting to ask if he's interrupting something. And it ends with Beckett telling Han it's the only way. The only way.
Mm-hmm.
And here we get some character building dialogue and some interesting, good, like at the beginning when Han is kind of, he's still up on his cloud, kind of like totally, happy that the girl that he's been after is back in his arms, and Beckett's trying to he's like, look, you don't know, and they have a great this exchange where Han says look, you don't know her as well as I do, and Beckett says, maybe you don't know her well enough, like that, because he does know her from this life, when they are at Voss's party, and he's like, oh, Beckett, like they know each other. He knows about her and what she potentially has done, at least in part. So
yeah, he's scared of her.
Yeah, and knows that he doesn't know the extent of her relationship with Han, but he also knows what she's been up to and knows that she will probably not be good for Han in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and probably, well, I mean, I don't want to spoil later in the week,
Okay,
but
go ahead.
no, I mean, we'll get to it in a day or two, but like, he probably knows that she's like, she's not a free person still. Like she's owned by this.
I don't think he does know that.
You don't think so?
No, because he says like, "Oh, we have all the time in the world."
No, Han
he
doesn't know
I'm talking
that.
about
Beckett
Beckett.
definitely knows.
Sorry.
Oh,
That's
Beckett knows. Beckett,
Yeah.
he does know. I thought you meant Han. Sorry.
I mean, I guess on some level, it's like, why doesn't Beckett be a little bit more blatant with what he says to Han instead of being kind of cryptic and going like, "You have no idea." It's
Right.
like, just go. No, just say she's he owns her, and now she's his forever, and she can't leave. She can't escape. Like
Maybe
he
he doesn't
murder her
want.
before that.
He doesn't want. Maybe Beckett doesn't want Han going back to her and saying, "Oh, he said that you were owned by the Dryden Voss," and then
That's probably true.
She's like, he's just like, not my. I don't know. He's just, I guess, just trying to stay out of it, or I don't know.
Well, no,
And
he
wants
seem
Han
to like him.
Yeah,
no,
I think
but
what
I
you're
mean, he wants to stay out of it, meaning he wants to stay out of he wants to get Han out of the relationship with Kira, like stay out of their business, kind of, he's trying to warn her away, but he doesn't want to get actively involved in trying to stop him. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Right.
He says they got the makings of a good crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although that said, that's kind of, I'm sorry, I was going to say that's kind of messed up because, like, I mean, again, I guess his crew just died. Like people that he ostensibly knew for a long time, one of whom he appeared to love, just died. And like, he was affected by it for a minute, but now he's like, let's get our new crew together, guys. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
We don't need any relationships. Let's just go steal stuff.
Which that ties into, so this is kind of it's really the theme of the whole minute. So we're jumping around, but we're within the same pie here.
We'll jump around.
So when he says you don't know, you don't know her well enough, and Beckett's, he's like, hey, he basically says like, all right, here's my motto: trust no one. Which is
Exile.
Exile. That's right. He wants to believe. But it fits with his character, and it is with I was reading the John Kasdan 42 things you didn't know about Solo tweets, and he said that this particular sequence had a very Michael Mann influence. They were feeling it. They wrote Michael Mann, Mon, Afont Mon had a very Afont Mon influence.
Well, it's either Han Solo or Michael Mann. He can't be
Man Solo.
Mon.
His name is Han Mann.
Mon Ray. But then he says don't trust anybody, and he says, oh, mate, well, you trusted your dead girlfriend, basically. That's
he went
Han
there.
just not being socially kind of adept.
Yeah. But then Beckett says, who? Which seems weird to me that he doesn't know. It's like he virtually doesn't remember that his girlfriend died 15 minutes ago.
It does bring up.
It's like, who?
No, I'm saying, but he might as well because his girlfriend died a day ago, and he's just like, hey man, we got a new crew we're putting together. I guess you gotta be pragmatic when you're in the criminal business. You can't sit around moping and mourning. You gotta.
I mean, I think she represented the one place in his life where he did let something touch him and it didn't work out, and now he's like, that's over forever. I mean, he used to talk about what's the instrument he said he was going to play, and
the Valicord, which is what Val was named after.
He's never going to learn to play the Valicord.
No, especially not now. He buried it.
He'll come back.
But it is so Han not being kind of, socially aware enough to not immediately say that. But oh, you trusted Val, and it reminded me a little bit of you could tell Luke, that's who you could tell, Han on the bridge there. It's a similar kind of thing where he just gets flustered and just lashes out. But then also But then it did really make me think about Val and Beckett's relationship with Val, and we had talked about the potential that maybe Val did fake her death to get away from it. Maybe he didn't trust her, and maybe she was, we talked about her maybe being, I think, again, let's throw another log on this fire that would make, I forgot who it was who thought this at the time, but it would have made it potentially a more interesting movie if Enfys Nest was Val. Now, there are times where they're both kind of on screen at more or less the same time. We'd have to figure that out, but
I think in those cases she got a duplicate, someone to pretend to be, just so that like when Batman gets someone to dress up like when Superman
Alfred shows up and wears the costume.
Totally. Yeah.
Wait, but why do you want to have her fake her death? Like, you think that he's not good to her?
The actress was very disappointed that they totally just killed her and wrote her. They specifically killed her as opposed to just having her. It'd be vague. It's tough to argue because she looks like she gets blown up right on screen. So we were trying to come up with a way of
but also she gives up pretty easily with like, well, no hope for me, gotta go. Like it's not. There are other options. She does have like grappling hooks and climbing things and all of that, and she's like, oh, I'm stuck on this platform, no hope for me.
She's pretty high up.
See you later. But she got there. It's not like they dropped her off. Like, she climbed up there by herself. So
well, but also the thing was she had to blow up the bridge before the train got there.
Right.
So she was like, well, this is so valuable, I'm going to kill myself. She didn't just say, well, we have to let the thing go and we'll get the next one, or we'll come up with a different plan.
I'll catch the next one.
She literally just, blew herself up just for the sake of. And as you say, it's just them getting out of debt to Dryden Voss. So it doesn't seem like, it's not like this was going to be their big score they could retire from. They weren't doing this for profit. They were doing it because they were
this was for profit.
No, because this was the stuff that they owed to Dryden Voss. That's why he gets so mad. He's like,
right, but I thought
this wasn't for us.
Right.
Yeah.
So and in defense of that a little bit anyway, like, Beckett believes he's going to be killed for this. Like when he's yelling at her,
when he's yelling at Han, he thinks that.
Like that's, or at least seems to be. So I get, and I'm saying, so Val's like, if we don't get this, we're all gonna die. So I guess I'll die, and then he won't.
Right.
Yeah.
But he didn't trust her.
But you're right. Well, I think he did. I think he did trust her.
One of the things we've speculated on throughout the season is the idea of Solo, the peering into the multiverse and looking in on the dimension where Solo was what it maybe perhaps might have been better as, which is a Disney Plus series. You know what I mean? Sure. We were all speculating you could cut this up into, stretch it out basically into whole seasons worth of stuff. And one thing that I really like about that idea that we don't get it in one movie is people speculating what's going to happen to Tobias Beckett, because everyone knows that he's not around during the time of the rebellion. So at some point they have to either have a falling out or he dies or whatever. So that would have been interesting, I think, to have people speculating as to, oh, is he going to die at the season? Is he going to die at the end of the season or whatever? So,
or is he going to be like, you know what? Like, I like your rebellion. I'm going to join up, but Beckett's a name associated with criminals. I'm going to change my name to Rykeen. Like,
I go by my father's name, Dodonna.
Yeah.
I like
exactly.
That. Yeah. Well, as Admiral, he's like, call me by my real name, Akbar. And they're like, what? Peels it all off his face.
Yeah, exactly. That would be fun.
We talked about
I would love it I mean, they obviously they can't redo the movie as one, but I mean, I would 100% watch follow-up.
Oh, they could work for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Buffy worked much better as a TV series than it did as a movie.
Yeah, depends on who you ask.
Well, but I mean, it was much more. Wait, which part about Buffy?
Yeah,
I mean, but
I don't know.
Clearly, as a the TV series is what the TV series is what had the cultural impact. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, anyway, also Buffy isn't. There's no Buffy continuity. Well, there is now because of the TV show. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they can't uncanonize a film.
Well, they can do
that would be a huge
but...
blow. What?
Oh, it would, but I mean, they could. They can do whatever they want. They could
do whatever they want. I think that would be too embarrassing. Like, I think they would bend over backwards. I mean, listen, I'm not saying this with any insider information, but all of those articles that come out that go, Disney's gonna
remake
all of the okay.
Right. Yeah,
No.
we don't believe that.
Well,
We
they
don't
could still do a
trust
TV. They could still do a TV series that would take place. I mean, obviously,
Afterwards.
Beckett couldn't.
No,
be,
yes, that's what I'm saying. I would watch.
I mean, in theory, that's the Lando show is going to be.
I would watch it a million times over.
Right.
I know that in interviews, Alden has said, "Yeah, I'm done with that. I don't want to do that." That said, lots of people say things. Is it a contract negotiation thing? Who knows?
Right.
Plus,
I
like,
hope he would come back.
yeah. We were talking about the Falcon yesterday. A little bit of different design
Falcon.
elements in the Lando.
Lovey told the
era.
driver to bring around the Falcon.
Lovey, bring around the Falcon.
We get a nice walk.
One thing I noticed. Oh, so when they go back into the main lounge there. Okay, so first question.
Yes.
Beckett totally does the C-3PO thing of interrupting Han and Leia while they're kissing.
Mm-hmm.
Did he specifically go back there because he was like, uh-oh, if they're both back there, they're probably making out, and I got to put a stop to that?
Yeah, people are predictable.
Or he just he wanted to tell Han something. Because don't they talk about something else here now? He was like, oh, let's get our guns.
Right, but he says like, oh, we got to focus. We're doing a job here. But I was like, he was just playing games with Chewie. He didn't seem like he was in too much of a hurry back then.
And the thing he said, I mean, again, like the lesson he was imparting was the whole Han comes in and goes, "Where's Kira?" And he goes, people are predictable. So I 100% think he knows that kid's going back there and he's going to screw this up. He's going to get involved in her. And he walked in and it was 100% right.
Do you think he checked with Chewie? He was like, Chewie, should I go in there? And Chewie's like,
no. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think he's gonna?
Chewie's like, I'm jealous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chewie sent him. Chewie's like, stop him. What are you doing?
He just wants the closet. That's
right. You're gonna go stop him in that nice room, that cool room.
So cozy.
It looks comfy. Yeah.
So then they march back into the main living room, going through those nice white Falcon hallways, and you see Chewie still sitting there at the table. I imagine him running like a chess tutorial.
Yes,
it's like
absolutely
good move, like kind of thing. Capture the pawn in 2 moves. Yeah. But over the chess table, there's a giant round. It looks almost like a lamp.
It is
a lamp.
I'm pretty sure.
Lando's lamp.
Died.
But they don't have.
They take off the lid so you don't see the lamp.
You don't see the.
They take off the lid so you don't see the lamp.
But that is not around during the Imperial era when we see. I loved look. Yeah, I just did a side by side comparison trying to find the same. I'm sure we could probably find 1,000 people have done it on the internet.
Right.
Of just comparing the two different to see what is different. In the two different. Different versions. So
I'll tell you the weird thing about that room to me is the weird central round couch.
Yeah, that is. We don't see that in the Han Solo era.
Like what? It's not very practical, right? Like it's got a big. It would be slightly more practical if it didn't have a big metal pole in the middle of it. But like it doesn't look like.
Or if that was cushioned,
to lean on,
or if the pole was cushioned or something.
It seems like it's a setup for like a Dick Van Dyke kind of a thing, where every single time it's going to be tripping over it.
Maybe it's like a hollow projector. Maybe it's not something you sit on. Maybe it's like if someone wants to sit in, that's where the hollow project. That's where Ki-Adi-Mundi would be sitting if he was asking you about the droid attack.
It's like a phone booth.
Kinda, yeah, but a receiving phone booth. Yeah,
right.
Well, yeah, we don't ever see how holograms work in Star Wars is a mystery. By which I mean the phone call holograms, like because it always is very like.
Yeah.
Why does it make it makes so many judgments? Like it makes so many decisions of like what it includes, what it doesn't, and how. I don't know.
And we very rarely see like where a camera.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like R2, we know has one on the front because we see Princess Leia standing in front of it, but like I don't know where Palpatine is talking to Newt Gunray. I don't know what he's looking at on his end.
Mm-hmm.
And even
he's talking to Darwak, who's holding a camera. Okay. Faster, more intense.
Even Leia, I mean, if you think about it, like you said, she's standing in front of R2, but we get 360 on her.
Right.
Yeah, that's another mysterious element. I was guessing it was some kind of like he's sending out almost like an echolocation thing, and then it can kind of. Or like a radar, basically. So he gets kind of like an outline of what physically is there. So he can kind
cloud of camera nanites.
Yeah.
There's a lot of AI going into just how it does that. Like devoted AI.
It just he does like a little 3D scan of the front of her and then just like extrapolates via AI.
Yeah. Plus, they spent all that time making a CGI Leia. They already have it on file, so they can easily just kind of duplicate
There you
that.
go.
I wonder if R2 could do that. Could he do deep fakes? You think?
Oh, totally.
Wow.
That's a real ethical kettle of worms you got there.
Right.
I guess I'm going to say the answer is no, though, because I think if so, we've been in too many wars for that not to have been implemented in any of them.
So you think is it a technological limitation or a programming limitation? Is it like 3PO not being able to speak Sith magic because it's forbidden? Like
I think it's technological because I don't think the the level of disguise that we see in Star Wars is put something on your head. Like that is it.
Yeah, it's true.
Like there's never
Don't make me dump
I
out my
look
house
like
again.
that guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think it would be too useful. Like they would do it if they could do it, or you'd think they would. So now it's going to happen casually, and it's going to be like, why didn't they do that every other time?
Yeah. It's the
I think it's
all
not
over again.
technologically feasible until it comes up in a plot, which it will.
Yeah. All the things that I Rebel was reading off in Scarif, like Stardust and Deepfake, they're all things that are going to be used later on as
Project Deepfake.
I believe it.
Project Time Travel, Project Magic Spells, Project Multiverse crossover event with the Marvel Universe. There's all sorts of stuff.
Project lots of Y-wings, no lightsabers. That's my favorite project.
Jordan, how do you feel about the prospect? You work for Marvel Comics. How do you feel about the idea of a MCU Star Wars crossover?
MCU.
Doctor Strange whoosh, does his thing. Suddenly, Ahsoka Tano comes jumping out of the thing. You can't use any actors who are in both universes.
Oh, you're talking about live action? I thought you were talking about a comic.
No, live action. Comics. That's small potato.
Yeah, comics. I'm on board. Movie. I mean, here's the thing. Intellectually, I want to sit here and go, no, I don't think that's a good idea. But like, if it happens, I'm going to be going crazy. Like, I'm going to be going, what? Ah! So, like.
Wolverine fighting Darth Vader. Tell me that's not going to sell tickets.
No, so I don't love that. I don't love that idea.
Scarlet Witch fighting one of the witches on Dothmere from Darth Maul's planet.
I mean, but this is the thing. This is why I'm saying like I don't intellectually like it, because I don't think there's no amazing team ups or verses that I'm like, oh, it's all worth it to see that. Like there's none that comes to mind. Like people used to joke about Boba Fett and Deadpool, and it's like, okay, that's fun. But or maybe now you'd rather have Mando and Deadpool. But
well, it'd start off as Boba Fett and Mando, and then it would eventually Mando. It would start off as Boba Fett and Deadpool, and then transition. But like it's like, but don't you want to see Luke and Spider-Man? It's like not really. Like I mean, if I had to do one, if you're said to me, no, Jordan, you're making a Star Wars MCU crossover, I would go, okay, it's going to be Solo era stuff crossing over with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Like I'm on board for that. That sounds fun.
I'm going to suggest Grogu and Dupe.
Grogu.
He's not in the MCU.
Dupe? No, didn't he pop up in something? No, all right.
No. Grogu and Groot. My son actually loves playing Grogu and Groot.
Grogu and Babu Frick.
Grogu and Groot.
They're not. They're both in Star Wars. You can already do that.
Is he?
I think it should be Grogu and Groot, just to make everybody say Grogu and Groot.
It's
and
not
Groot
easy.
and Groot the Wanderer. Throw him in there.
Groot, yeah.
Rocket and Grogu can hang out, and Groot and
how about Howard the Duck and Grogu?
Howard the Duck and Babu Frick. I'll buy that.
Okay. How about Howard the Duck and Boshek?
I mean, a Han Solo versus Star-Lord, I think, is pretty like space race. Space race? You know what I mean?
Oh, like wacky races, but
like the Cannonball Run, but in space.
Yes.
Cannonball Run, but in space. There you look what you got, Alex.
I'm on board.
All right.
I think it's great.
With all the different Disney properties racing to get to.
Oh.
That would be
so like
great.
all space things. So the ship from Wall-E, I guess, and
Sure.
I don't know. I'm trying to think what else there is. Oh, the princesses get a spaceship. I love it.
Do you think that princesses would each have their own? Well, they'd want to sell as many themed toys as they can. I was gonna say, do you think all the princesses would like be in one princess ship together?
I think
for the purposes of this, you have to.
I think you don't make it a space. I don't think you don't make the race in space. You make it like it's like a battle world kind of thing, where they go into space to get to the place where they race.
Like a pod
so
race.
You can have like a pod race.
Everyone
Because
loves
then
pod
you can
races.
have, you can mix in like,
Because Star Wars did already cross over with the princesses. That happened in Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Ralph Breaks the Internet.
When you roll your eyes, it had Star Wars and it had the princesses, and they even
that's like saying Darth
for a
Vader
second.
because Darth Vader was in Indian in the Cupboard. That counts. That doesn't.
that counts.
I really like this idea, and
Sesame Street, obviously.
I think we should run with
Sesame Street and the Muppets.
Yeah,
right.
Muppets is canonical.
Well, now how is Muppets canonical, but Sesame Street's not?
Because they established that Mark Hamill is cousins with Luke Skywalker.
Right.
Yeah, but in Sesame Street, they talk about them visiting Sesame Street.
But Sesame Street's all
they're both
puppets.
canonical.
Sesame Street's just puppets. It's the same exact thing. Yeah. Kermit's on both.
It's actually less puppets on Sesame Street.
Well, slightly.
Yeah, the most puppets are in Jabba's palace.
Yeah, usually you only have one human per week with the Muppets. No more, no less.
Yeah, that's true.
Always one there is.
One non-puppet human, because there are some human puppets.
No, wait, because you can have Shields and Yarnell.
Oh, but they don't speak, so they count as one person.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like Penn and Teller.
Right,
lots of the Muppets are human.
But they're not human. They're Muppets.
Right.
They're Muppets of humans, but they're not human.
Right. But they're human in the way that Kermit's a frog.
Yeah.
Right, but they're not human in the sense that
is Dr.
they have no
Teeth
rights.
human?
Dr. Teeth is not. They're all Muppets.
But he's a human Muppet. But he's not. His skin is not. It's like green, isn't it? Like
it's felt over a bunch of teeth. He's like a bag of teeth that plays the piano.
The man's a doctor.
Yeah. Come on.
Okay. All right.
He's a bag of teeth that plays the piano.
Yeah, exactly. Where were we? That's pretty much all I had for 68.
Yeah, don't trust anybody.
Don't trust anybody. Bag of teeth.
Assume everyone will betray you and you'll never be disappointed.
Right.
And he says it sounds
Kira
lonely,
is the Yoko of the crew. That's what Beckett is saying.
They just
Yoko.
met.
Right.
He just met Beckett, I mean.
Oh, Han Solo?
It's not like they're old friends. They're not like this amazingly established crew. They did a thing.
Yeah.
And it failed, by the way. They did one thing and they failed.
I don't know why Beckett's so enthusiastic about them getting together after Han just got them into this mess by dumping the coaxium. Like, he was ready to kill him a second ago. Now he's like, we got a great crew going on here. I think he's really looking out for his own skin, and he's just trying to get Han to put it in.
Well, yeah, if Han falls for it, he's not going to be as, on his game, and he's not, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's not going to, the chances of them succeeding are lower. So
that's all I have for 68.
Me too. Jordan, can you come back tomorrow?
I think so. Yeah.
All
that
right.
should be fine.
Nice.
All right. Well, everybody else who's listening, if you want to come back tomorrow, maybe first go find us on social media. Go to Twitter. We're at Star Wars Minute. Go to Instagram. We're the Star Wars Minute. Go to StarWarsMinute.com/Facebook to get to the Star Wars Minute Listener Society. Jordan was just talking about it. He just did his ranking there of the films. It's an annual ranking poll just to see how people are feeling about these movies. And go do all the... don't forget that we have a subreddit on Reddit. There's r/r/Star Wars Minutes. And we have a TikTok that has like 2 things on it. 2 things.
Always
we'll put that on the pile with our like... What were the other things we had? We had like a meerkat or something for a while, or I don't know. All these... Whatever new social medium comes up, we'll just like go get one and then... put a thing on it maybe, and then, wait it out. But yeah. But go check out all that stuff. Meet us back here tomorrow. Star Wars Minute.
Star Wars Minute.